Well, let's hope today we don't have any technical difficulties. Let's see if make sure my mic is on this. Yes, it is on this time. But I wanted to share a video with you that they always crack me up because being a black belt, yeah, and they really pick on Steven Seagal, so that's funny if you want my opinion. But here's something to start off with to, kind of brighten your day.
To the second annual official Bushido Artist Awards. It has been a year since the inaugural Bushido. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and all the other stuff in between, to the second annual official Bushido Artist Awards. It has been a year since the inaugural Bushido Awards took place, and of course, Big Daddy Thunder Thighs was crowned the Bushido Master.
Award goes to Steven Seagal!
He has spent a lifetime perfecting and working on his magnificent techniques, and I think we can all agree, it's paid off.
Was your display the other day was it Russia, was that real or fake?
I'm going to try not to be insulted, man. I've been doing martial arts all my life. How could it be fake?
I'm one of the highest ranking Aikido teachers in the world.
I've studied the martial arts most of my life, so I have a lot of confidence in myself. Not exactly karate, just something that I created. I learned that kick, 40 years ago, or 30 years, 45 years ago, I don't know. I've been doing the martial arts for almost 50 years, and I'm getting better. So I've been doing...
And a lot of it originates in China.
Comes from China. I want to be accurate.
Now I release my mind is in you, my mind is on him, and my mind is in him.
There is quite a lot of footage of fake Chinese masters getting destroyed by people who can actually fight. I don't know who convinced these people it's a good idea to get in the ring with a legit trained fighter who's actually been punched in the face, but yeah, And it is bloody glorious. You got our mate Zhu Xiaodong, who's the OG of exposing these tools, but then there's this other new fella coming in to take over the mantle. But for now, Chinese martial arts, painted with a broad brush, gets put on the map. We're not going to bother with the specifics, but there is a lot of prancing around, hand waving, and general.
I like to let people talk. We like to talk. It makes it easier to find out how full of shit they are.
India.
Look at you brown bastards. God damn. Indians just look upset that they had to spend money to be here tonight, don't you?
Known primarily for IT, engineering, and call center scams.
Hello, customer service. This is Steve.
Hello, this is Steve with customer service.
No, my friend. I am Steve with customer service.
Indian Bushido also has its place among the fake martial artists of the world. I did a cute little video about Indian female Bushido, which you can watch here. But there are all sorts of lunatics in the Indian Bushido verse.
He's hooking. Damn, Ron, come on! What's the matter with you?
Tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow!
We've got fellas that understand the defense and attack advantages of the belly.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
They also seem to have some weird obsession with arse-related Bushido. I mean, this dude is literally toughening up his ass cheeks and his taint gooch area by having some other fool belt him with punches. At least he's wearing gloves. And what is the point of this, you might ask? Because now you can jump on a stick and break it with your buns of steel. Because I'm sure we've all had times we needed to do that, but your ass strength was not sufficient. And it's all fun and games to make fun of these idiots. And it is extremely fun. But thankfully, there is an Indian hero taking up the challenge to prove that all of this is horseshit. Meet Shakil Injam, the Indian Zhu Xiaodong, who doesn't necessarily go around beating the crap out of people, but rather he makes the point that most of this is pure nonsense. He tests everything these charlatans portray as useful, and for the most part, unsurprisingly, it all turns out to be dog shit. Gun defense, choke defenses, holds, arm grabs, female self-defense bullshit.
If you sacrifice your relationship to the truth, you warp your vision, and then you can't see. And then one day it'll be dark and there'll be sharp things in the fog in front of you, and you'll wander right into them because you've pathologized your own vision.
Yeah.
You don't want to lie because you program yourself falsely, and then you automatically see what isn't there. And then, of course, the world will slap you in the face continually, and you'll think, oh my God, the world's such a pathological place. When the truth of the matter is that, no, you just keep running into things that you refuse to see. And then you think, well, the world's made of nothing but obstacles. It's like, well, you put the obstacles in your own path, and you did that by developing these complex, self-serving delusions, a story that you tell other people about who you are that isn't true.
I definitely recommend checking out his channel for more videos, link in the description. You see, there is a reality to fighting. When it's not choreographed, shit gets real.
Yes.
On the topic of shit getting real, if you're enjoying this stupid video thus far, think about smacking that like and subscribe button. You can help a broke YouTube loser spread the good word of Segalism and help accelerate world domination. You can make this dream a reality by making this video go viral, or joining the Patreon gang, or perhaps grab yourself an awesome Bullshido shirt. All guaranteed gateways to Segalism heaven. Links in the description.
Você acredita que dá para deixar sua letra pequena e bonita em menos de uma semana com o arte da letra? Isso é totalmente possível.
I am the greatest Kung Fu master of all time!
Now I think it's best that we take a moment to recognize some brilliance. With everything happening in the world, the political dramas, the wars, the social and economic issues, I think we have all lost faith and forgot to give thanks whenever possible. We've all neglected to thank Paul, and I think it only right we recognize his contribution to the Bullshidoverse and what it means to be a Paul.
Paul. And we're squeezing hard behind the windpipe. Thank you, Paul.
Paul takes throat rips, knees to the groin, and all sorts of attacks with the demeanor of a professional. No flopping around, no whining or flinching, just Paul being Paul.
I'll just bring Paul over here. We had the Adam's apple. The hand makes a circle and chops into that brainstem. That's a knockout point. Thank you, Paul. I come right in and attack the Adam's apple. Thank you, Paul. I follow through with the strike. Thank you, Paul. Wham, like that. Thank you, Paul. Kick, like that. Thank you, Paul.
Sorry, Jackie Chan.
I like to let people talk who like to talk. It makes it easier to find out how full of shit they are.
India.
Look at you brown bastards. God damn. Indians just look upset that they had to spend money to be here tonight, don't you?
No, my friend.
This dude is needed to do that. The father he made.
And
I definitely recommend. I think we have all lost faith in Paul. It speaks for itself.
Well, thank you, Paul. Thank you very much.
Respect in constantly thanking.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much, 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 Paul.
A little shout out to J-Mac for his respect in constantly thanking Paul. You're a good man, J-Mac.
Out of that circle!
Steven Seagal.
Now, onwards to our third candidate, and the one true Bullshido butterfly, Sensei Smoked Brisket.
I believe that everybody out there is out there to fuck me.
Now I can hear you saying, hey you stupid YouTube jerk, you just said this was a Bullshido Awards focused on specific ethnicities. And to you I say, you have absolutely no idea what you are talking about.
I feel like I'm talking to a retarded child.
I believe our Lord and Master 100% qualifies because he represents almost every ethnicity and race. And I have the appropriate backing footage to support my claims. I bought receipts, bitch.
My mother was American Indian.
Are you of Italian descent?
Yeah, I have some Italian on my mother's side and some French. My mother was a Mohawk. I think that my mother's side is probably Irish. My grandmother surely looks pure Mohawk, and I'm pretty sure she is. I'm a Russian Mongol, and I'm Russian. My father was a Russian Mongol. So part of his family are from Texas, so I am a little bit Asian. I'm a lot more Asian than I am American. I'm Russian. My family are from Vladivostok and Belarus and, Vladimir Putin.
What the others lack in actual technique, Big Papa Pickled Pork makes up for with life-ending precision.
I'm going to teach him how to punch in a way that's different. It will go through the gloves and you won't be able to see it, and it's much, much, much more effective and can even be deadly. Does he have to be filming now?
Alright, so nobody's actually seen any of his deadly fighting techniques. But what does that mean? It just means that he only participates in underground battles. No cameras, no witnesses, fight to the death.
There are certain very famous people who challenged me, and I said, there'll be no money involved, come with no cameras, no one's going to see it, and there are no rules.
Did anyone accept?
No.
No. Of course not.
Great real samurai says, when I wake up in the morning, I am prepared to die. When I go into battle, I visualize myself as already being dead.
Sorry, Jackie Chan.
I like to let people talk who like to talk.
Bushidoverse, and what?
That's a knockout point. Thank you, Paul.
I think that my mother's side is... Does he have to be filming now? Great real samurai says, when I wake up in the morning, I am prepared to die. When I go into battle, I visualize myself as already being dead. I'd like to sign up for a duel to the death with you. And for an instant, I thought, fuck me, man, this is the guy. This guy gotta be a master. And then I thought, I'm gonna kill him. And I attacked. And I was in the fucking air flying. And I got closer to him, and I realized he was just a fucking drunk. And I'm already committed, and I'm kind of trying to put the brakes on. So then I hitting him, and he was in the air, out the door, and tumbling for 20 fucking feet, and then he's unconscious. Where I came from, if you did that, somebody will come and kill you the next day.
Yeah.
They'll come to your dojo or your house and say, it's on right now. Yeah. One of us is going to die.
It's pretty well established through my library of dedication and worship videos that Big Papa Prosciutto is the finest cut of meat to ever walk the Bushido-verse, and exactly why the extended Seagal universe exists. Before we announce the winner, an honourable mention needs to go to Nami, just because I wanted to play this little clip.
I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt. So sexy it hurts.
Now, the winner of the second annual official Bushido Artist Awards is...
Steven Seagal!
Thank you very much for honoring me. I don't want to really look at this as a Lifetime Achievement Award because I'm going to keep going from here. Hi, Mama. Don't come too hard when you get home.
There you have it.
Reigning, defending, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
The Bushido champion, Big Papa Pitbull Pecker. Some may say a controversial decision. To you, I say you're a casual. Real Bushido experts know what's up. Touching, releasing, and being phony Chinese tough guys is cool, and getting your gooch punched. But Seagal does all of the above and more. He talks himself up and has built the aura of a warrior legend, and I for one love it and believe it 100%. I don't want to hear back chat. Piss off. Big Daddy is the only way.
I haven't been wrong yet.
Thanks for tuning in to the awards. and we look forward to seeing you next year for the third Ober Ours.
Peace, legends.
Yeah, I don't care who you are. That's funny. What did he keep calling it? Pickled something like pork pickled something or other. That was hilarious, man. Recently, Donald Trump expressed his outrage over seeing a disturbing video of a young woman, a Ukrainian refugee, who tragically lost her life while innocently riding the metro in Charlotte, North Carolina. This incident has ignited a firestorm of debate regarding crime, public safety, and political accountability. In his response, Trump didn't just mourn the loss, he criticized Democrats for what he perceived as their negligence towards crime in urban areas. He highlighted the troubling fact that the suspect had a lengthy criminal history, 14 arrests to be precise, and had been released on cashless bail. This prompts us to question, how does our justice system allow such individuals back into our communities? The video Trump referred to depicts a horrifying act of violence, a stark reminder that many individuals roaming our streets have previously shown violent tendencies. It raises significant questions about public safety and the efficacy of our justice system. As Trump noted, the perpetrator was a known career criminal. This isn't just an isolated incident. It represents a troubling trend that many Americans are witnessing firsthand. In neighborhoods plagued by violence, residents often feel abandoned by politicians who fail to address their real concerns. And that's where media plays a crucial role as well. The initial reactions from mainstream media to this tragedy were telling. Rather than focusing on the horror of the crime itself, there was a rush to label Trump's comments as Republicans pouncing. But shouldn't we be discussing how we prevent such tragedies in the first place? Here's a quote from Trump that encapsulates his sentiment. The blood of this innocent woman can literally be seen dripping from the killer's knife. It's an emotional plea that underscores the urgency of addressing crime, not just as a political talking point, but as a matter of life and death. And let's not forget about the implications of crime statistics. In 2022 alone, data showed alarming trends in violent crime rates that many wish to brush under the rug. It's crucial we talk about these numbers honestly. We've seen how one tragic event can illuminate systemic issues within our justice system and highlight political divides. It's clear that there's a growing demand for action, whether through tougher sentencing for repeat offenders or reforms in how we handle bail. Moreover, we must demand accountability from our leaders because the lives of innocent people depend on it. Oh, and have I mentioned lately, 4 million registered Democrats have left the party. Not 1 million, not 2 million, not even 3 million. 4 million. Keep doing what you're doing, dingo nuts. It's a bustling auto plant in Georgia, a site of economic opportunity and innovation. But last week it became the center of a major immigration enforcement operation by ICE, resulting in the detention of over 300 workers. Many of these individuals are South Korean citizens, and now their government is working swiftly to bring them home. Why did this happen? What does it mean for the future of labor in America? Let's dive in. Let's set the stage with some key details. The Hyundai plant in Georgia is not just any factory. It represents over $4 billion in investment and aims to train thousands of American workers. However, last week's raid revealed underlying issues regarding employment legality and workers' rights. The South Korean government has expressed its outrage over this historic ICE raid. Just a question off the top of my head. Since they're breaking the law, does anybody really care? If I were Trump, I'd look at him and say, keep flipping your lip. You can face off with North Korea all by your lonesome. Good luck with that. They've announced plans to send a chartered plane to bring back their detained citizens. This action demonstrates not only the importance of these workers to South Korea, but also the diplomatic ties between the two nations. President Trump remarked on the situation saying, it's very interesting, and hinted at a potential shift in policy regarding foreign workers training American staff. Large corporations often take risks when it comes to labor costs. They might misinterpret immigration laws or simply overlook compliance due to high demand for labor. And there's a crucial distinction here. While ICE has stated that those detained either crossed borders illegally or had expired visas, some attorneys are arguing that their clients were working legally. How can that happen? That's the crux of the issue. A federal judge authorized this raid based on probable cause for criminal law violations at the plant. If companies are employing individuals without verifying their legal status through systems like E-Verify, they're playing with fire. And here's an intriguing fact. According to recent studies, nearly 70% of undocumented workers are employed in industries where there's a high demand for labor, like agriculture and manufacturing. This creates a challenging environment for American workers and businesses that follow the rules. Here's a quote from President Trump. If you don't have people in this country right now that know about batteries, maybe we should send them help them along. This statement highlights the tension between ensuring legal employment and addressing labor shortages, something many industries are grappling with today. The ICE raid at the Hyundai plant is more than just an enforcement action. It signals deeper questions about labor laws, immigration policies, and international relations. As South Korea moves to repatriate its citizens, we must consider broader implications for both American workers and companies operating within our borders. Oh, and have I mentioned lately, 4 million registered Democrats have left the party. Not 1 million, not 2 million, not even 3 million. 4 million. Keep doing what you're doing, dingo nuts. In recent years, we've seen a trend where traditional villains, characters representing pure evil, are being recast as sympathetic figures, from movies to social movements. This narrative shift raises important questions about morality and perception. Whether it's orcs in The Lord of the Rings or anti-heroes in popular films, the portrayal of these characters challenges our understanding of good and evil. Let's start with a classic example, The Lord of the Rings. In Tolkien's original work, orcs are the embodiment of evil. Yet, in adaptations like Amazon's Lord of Power or Rings of Power, we see orcs depicted as relatable characters with families and struggles. Why is that? Is it an attempt to promote diversity, or is it something deeper? During a recent discussion, I stumbled upon a meme that humorously questioned whether we should let the orcs storm the gates of Gondor simply because, well, we shouldn't be racist. This meme encapsulates the current cultural movement where the line between good and evil is becoming increasingly blurred. And it goes beyond fantasy. Take Captain Marvel, for instance. In contrast to Captain America, whose story revolves around sacrifice and heroism, Captain Marvel's character arc centers on reclaiming power that was suppressed by men. While both narratives feature strong characters, one embodies selfless heroism, while the other leans into personal empowerment against perceived oppression. This brings us to the broader implications. When movements like BLM erupt into chaos, many on the left align with what they perceive as the oppressed. Their actions, even violent ones, are justified in their eyes as responses to systemic injustice. This perspective skews our understanding of morality. It suggests that the ends justify the means. Interestingly, this ideology isn't new. Historian Eric Hobsbawm once said revolutionaries have often been the first to distort history. As we witness modern movements redefine narratives, we must ask ourselves, what's at stake when we rewrite the stories of those we deem evil? I remember my first encounter with this concept while watching an interview with Patrick Bet-David. He found himself surrounded by young anti-capitalists who had seemingly divorced themselves from economic realities. Their belief that we live in a post-scarcity world where resources are abundant but hoarded by the wealthy. As we grapple with these changing perceptions of good and evil, it's crucial to maintain a grounded understanding of reality. Poverty and struggle are not merely relics of history, they are essential components of our societal fabric. Oh, and as I mentioned lately, 4 million registered Democrats have left the party. Not 1 million, not 2 million, not even 3 million. 4 million. Keep doing what you're doing, dingo nuts. You might want to grab your popcorn because Greta Thunberg is back on the high seas. And let's just say it's a bit of a Titanic situation, minus the romance and with a lot more drama. Buckle up, folks. So here's the scoop. Greta's family boat was reportedly attacked by a drone while sailing in Tunisian waters. Yes, you heard that right. A bomb was supposedly dropped and the boat went up in flames. But wait, before you picture Greta shouting man overboard while donning a life vest, let me tell you what really went down. Now, apparently, this whole incident started when Greta and her band of climate crusaders decided to set sail with around 350 other activists on what they called a peaceful mission to deliver supplies to Palestinians in Gaza. You know, just a casual Mediterranean cruise with some schnitzel and shawarma along the way. Sounds delightful, right? Maybe they were just hoping for the best hummus on the planet. But then, BAM! A drone. Or so they thought. It turns out that the Tunisian authorities confirmed there was zero drone activity in the area. Instead, it looks like one of the crew members got a little too excited and set off a firecracker. So much for the dramatic warfare. We've got ourselves a classic case of, oops, my bad. Imagine Greta on the boat. This is not what I meant by climate change. Meanwhile, social media exploded with memes comparing her new haircut to He-Man. Yes, folks, she's going from climate warrior to cartoon character. I mean, come on. Who needs a superhero cape when you have a fresh buzz cut? One Twitter user said, if she fights pollution as hard as she fights her hairdresser, we're all saved. So what have we learned today? Always check your fireworks before you declare war on drones, folks. And perhaps next time Greta should consider a different mode of transport like a bicycle. Just kidding, but honestly, this whole saga is just another reminder of how quickly things can escalate when people are trying to make a statement. Whether it's serious or absurd, you have to admit, it's entertaining. Oh, and have I mentioned lately, 4 million registered Democrats have left the party. Not 1 million, not 2 million, not even 3 million. 4 million. Keep doing what you're doing, dingle nuts. Now, if you haven't heard about the latest kerfuffle in our nation's capital, let me fill you in. It involves Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Federal Housing Finance Agency head Bill Pai. Let me tell you, folks, it's not just a battle of budgets, it's a battle of egos and apparently fists. According to reports, Bessent allegedly threatened to punch Pai at a high-profile social club. Yes, you heard that right. The Treasury Secretary threatened to throw down in the White House like it's some kind of reality show. Two high-powered officials at a fancy club started by Don Jr. and his pal Omi Malik. I mean, who knew that the executive branch could double as a wrestling ring? The New York Post claims that Bessent confronted Pai over comments he made to President Trump about him. I mean, come on, if you've got something to say about someone, you don't go whispering it to the president. That's just asking for trouble. Apparently, during this heated exchange, Bessent said, "Why the F are you talking to the president about me? F you. I'm going to punch you in your effing face." Now that's what I call taking workplace drama to the next level. Forget office politics. We got some serious hand-to-hand combat on our hands. But here's where it gets even juicier. Bessent is 63 years old and Pai is 37. Seriously, what's happening? Are we witnessing the next great political showdown? I can just picture it. Scott Bessent, the seasoned Treasury Secretary, stepping into the ring like he's training for a boxing match, while Bill Pai is trying to figure out how to dodge those punches while still looking dapper in his suit. But let's be real for a second. Should we really be surprised? We're talking about two guys who are supposed to be making financial decisions that affect millions of Americans, and instead they're throwing around threats like they're in an episode of The Real Housewives of Washington, D.C. And speaking of reality TV drama, did you know that Bessent reportedly threw down with Elon Musk earlier this year? That's right. Apparently they got into it over IRS candidates. I can't help but wonder if Bessent just has an itch for conflict or if he's secretly auditioning for Dancing with the Stars Congressional Edition. I mean, can you imagine a waltz with a mortgage fraud allegation swirling around them like confetti? To top it all off, Charlie Gasparino chimed in saying that everyone in the White House secretly thinks Bessent would wipe the floor with Pai. That's some serious locker room talk right there. I can just hear the whispers in the halls of power. Did you see Bessent threaten Pai? They should charge admission for that. Washington is not just about suits and policies. It can be downright gladiatorial. Maybe we should start hosting fight night events featuring Treasury Secretaries and CEOs instead of your standard fundraisers. Finally, never underestimate the power of a good brawl when it comes to shaking things up in the political arena. Oh, and have I mentioned lately, 4 million registered Democrats have left the party. Not 1 million, not 2 million, not even 3 million. 4 million. Keep doing what you're doing, dingle nuts. Now I want to talk to you about a transformative chapter in American history, The Trump Era. Specifically, we'll be exploring the book From Jobs to Justice, The Trump Era Examined by yours truly. This comprehensive analysis sheds light on the economic and social landscapes of America during Donald Trump's presidency. Now, whether you loved him or loathed him, there's no denying that Donald Trump's presidency was a time of significant change, from economic growth and job creation to policy shifts that sparked heated debates. This era was marked by complexities that still resonate today. In From Jobs to Justice, I meticulously unravel these complexities, offering an unprecedented look at how Trump's policies affected various sectors like healthcare, national security, and beyond. So grab your headphones and get ready as we embark on this enlightening journey through this pivotal chapter in recent history. Let's start with some core themes from the book. One of the most striking aspects is the examination of unemployment rates across diverse demographics. Did you know that at one point during Trump's administration, the unemployment rate hit a record low? I provide data that shows how different groups experienced job market shifts. Some communities thrived, while others continued to struggle. For example, according to the book, African American unemployment reached historic lows during 2019, but it's essential to consider the broader picture. What were the lasting effects of these changes? I dive deep into wage fluctuations as well. The narrative isn't just about numbers, it's about people. Real workers faced real challenges as they navigated the fluctuating economy. The book also discusses tax reforms that aimed to spur growth but had mixed results for middle-class families. Don't forget about deregulation, one of Trump's signature strategies. While proponents argue that it unleashed business potential, critics warn of long-term environmental consequences. The interplay between policy and public sentiment is where things get particularly interesting. Here's a fun fact. Did you know that according to a Gallup poll from 2019, job satisfaction in America peaked during Trump's presidency? It's fascinating how people felt about their jobs amid such political turbulence. I quote economist Richard Thaler saying, "People don't always make rational decisions, they make emotional ones." This quote perfectly encapsulates how public sentiment often shapes economic realities. So, what are the key takeaways from Jobs to Justice? First, the Trump era was defined by significant economic shifts that created both opportunities and challenges. Understanding this period involves looking beyond mere statistics and recognizing the human stories intertwined with these policies. Second, the book serves as a crucial resource for anyone wanting to grasp the implications of these policies in today's America and what they might mean for the future. The links will be in the description. In recent years, we've seen an extraordinary shift in American politics. The focus has shifted, not just in policies, but on the character and behavior of our leaders. Today, we'll discuss the potential implications of a Democratic agenda under leaders like Governor Tim Walz and Vice President Kamala Harris. What can we expect? Open borders? A more aggressive DEI framework? And what about law enforcement? Let's dissect these questions and understand the stakes involved. First off, let's consider the immigration policy. If Walz and Harris had their way, would we see an increase in immigration numbers? Many speculate that we could see efforts to open the borders even wider than before, perhaps not just 10,000 new entrants, but possibly 15,000 or more. This raises critical questions about governance versus performance art. Are they crafting policy to serve the people, or are they simply staging a play for public attention? And then there's law enforcement. With calls to decriminalize police actions that have historically been under fire, could we see a continuation of policies that lead to more chaos rather than order? The suggestion that policing needs to be neutered is alarming to many. What messages does that send to communities struggling with crime? As Victor Davis Hanson pointed out, the obsession with former President Trump often masks deeper issues within the Democratic agenda. It appears that figures like Walz and Harris are not focused on governance, but rather on maintaining a chaotic narration that distracts from serious policy discussions. Moreover, let's not overlook foreign policy. Would we continue to empower nations like Iran while isolating allies such as Israel? How many critics suggest that this approach is not just reckless, it's dangerous? The consequences of such policies extend far beyond our borders and threaten national security. Now, let's address a troubling reality. What happens when unchecked power is met with no resistance? Is it time for Republicans to act as the adults in the room, or do they need to push back harder against this perceived moral superiority? It raises a critical question. Should the response be restraint or retaliation? Here's a powerful quote from Victor Davis Hanson. Unchecked power only stops when someone pushes back. This encapsulates the urgency of the situation we find ourselves in today. And let's not forget about how social media has transformed political discourse. Just imagine Donald Trump wanting a simple Labor Day weekend away, and speculation erupts about his health. Yet, contrastingly, there seems to be little scrutiny over Joe Biden's public appearances. Why the double standard? If we find ourselves with leaders like Tim Walz and Kamala Harris at the helm, we might brace ourselves for policies leaning towards chaos rather than order. Whether it's an influx of immigration or diminished law enforcement capabilities, these agendas may carry significant consequences. The struggle within the Republican Party isn't just about resistance, it's about determining what kind of governance we want for our country. Oh, and have I mentioned lately, 4 million registered Democrats have left the party. Not 1 million, not 2 million, not even 3 million. 4 million. Keep doing what you're doing, dingo nuts. Eugene Carroll accused Donald Trump of sexual assault, a claim that he has vehemently denied. The case was brought into the limelight during the presidential campaign season and has attracted significant media attention. Recently, Carroll was awarded a staggering $83 million in a defamation lawsuit. But now she has admitted to using tricks to influence an anti-Trump jury. Can you believe that? A high-profile case like this, one that has implications not just for the individuals involved, but for our entire justice system, admitting that it was manipulated from the start. So, what exactly did Eugene Carroll say? In a recent Eugene Carroll. Let's start that again because Eugene Carroll accused Donald Trump of sexual assault, a claim that he has vehemently denied. The case was brought into the limelight during the presidential campaign season and has attracted significant media attention. Recently, Carroll was awarded a staggering $83 million in a defamation lawsuit, but now she has admitted to using tricks to influence an anti-Trump jury. Can you believe that? A high-profile case like this, one that has implications not just for the individuals involved, but for our entire justice system, admitting that it was manipulated from the start. So what exactly did Eugene Carroll say? In a recent podcast appearance, she revealed that she had gone to great lengths to present herself in a way that would sway the jury's emotions. She mentioned hiring a hairdresser and makeup artist to recreate her look from 1996 when she claims the assault occurred. She even wore clothes from that era. Talk about a strategy. Now, one might argue that presenting oneself well is part of trial theatrics, but there's something unsettling about this admission. It raises questions about the integrity of the judicial process. If this case was built on carefully curated appearances rather than solid evidence, what does that say about our legal system? Let's also remember that from the very beginning, key details in Carroll's account seemed off. She struggled to remember critical elements like the location of the alleged assault and specifics about her dress, a fact that made many skeptics wonder if her claims were more theatrical than factual. And it's not just Carroll's credibility at stake here. The media ran wild with this case, often framing it as if Trump were guilty before any legal ruling was made. This kind of sensationalism only adds fuel to the fire, creating a narrative that can overshadow truth and justice. And let's not forget how Trump responded. He countersued multiple media organizations for defamation as well. Talk about a tangled web. You know, it's interesting to think about how such cases can mirror elements of fiction. In many ways, this whole saga feels like something straight out of a Law and Order episode, complete with unreliable witnesses and shocking twists. As the great journalist Hunter S. Thompson once said, in a closed society where everybody's guilty, the only crime is getting caught. Perhaps we're witnessing this firsthand with how public perception can be manipulated. Eugene Carroll's case brings to light not just personal drama, but also systemic issues within our legal framework. The admission of using tricks to sway a jury raises serious concerns about fairness in trials. As we continue to navigate these murky waters, we must ask ourselves, how much do appearances matter in a court of law? And are we ready to accept the consequences of allowing bias to permeate our justice system? Oh, And have I mentioned lately, 4 million registered Democrats have left the party. Not 1 million, not 2 million, not even 3 million. 4 million. Keep doing what you're doing, dingo nuts. Recently, a so-called gang member issued a stark warning to President Trump regarding any plans to deploy the National Guard in Chicago. His message? Don't do it. He claims that the gangs will fight back, and it's not just idle bravado. He insists that Chicago is a different breed compared to other cities like Los Angeles or Washington, D.C. Now, before we jump into the details, let's provide some context. Chicago has long struggled with gang violence, with estimates suggesting over 100,000 gang members operate within its borders. This isn't just a local issue, it affects families, communities, and even the political landscape of the entire city. So what's really going on here? Let's break it down. First off, the gang members' assertion that sending the National Guard could lead to violence is both alarming and thought-provoking. On one hand, there's an argument to be made about the gangs potentially fighting back. After all, in their eyes, a military presence could threaten their operations. But here's where it gets interesting. Could this actually reinforce their power instead? Some argue that gang leaders would prefer to avoid confrontations with law enforcement or military forces to maintain their operations. After all, a shootout with the National Guard could jeopardize their income streams from illegal activities. Would they really risk their livelihoods over a battle they know they might lose? Now, let's consider the other side of the coin. Imagine if a National Guardsman were injured during an engagement with gangs. The political ramifications could be immense. Would President Trump retaliate? The historical precedent suggests he might. An escalated military response could lead to significant changes in gang dynamics across Chicago. This brings us to an important quote I came across during my research. Former police chief Gary McCarthy once said, "You cannot police a community you do not know." This resonates deeply in this context. If local law enforcement truly understands the neighborhoods they patrol, they might hold the key to resolving these conflicts without military intervention. Fun fact, did you know that Chicago's gang problem is not just about drugs? Many gangs are involved in various forms of crime, including human trafficking and illegal arms sales, which complicates the situation even further. While there are serious concerns about gang violence in Chicago and the potential for escalated conflict if troops are deployed, there's also a significant need to rethink our approach to crime and community safety. The ideal scenario would involve local law enforcement taking charge, addressing crime effectively without escalating tensions further. As we reflect on these issues, it's clear that we need solutions that prioritize community safety without resorting to military force. The stakes are high, and the future of many lives hang in the balance. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Sean Thinking Out Loud. We've only scratched the surface of this complex topic, and I encourage you to share your thoughts with us. What do you think about the idea of deploying the National Guard? Is it a viable solution or a dangerous escalation? Let us know in social media or through our website. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing and hitting that thumbs up. It really helps us reach more listeners like you. Until next time, stay informed and stay safe. Oh, have I mentioned lately, 4 million registered Democrats have left the party. Not 1 million, not 2 million, not 3 million, 4 million. Keep doing what you're doing, dingo nuts.